Love what my show was doing. Great sponsorship. Great, you name it. One of the only profitable areas of SiriusXM was that whole libertarian group of channels, 2 of them. And they had us on twice a day. It was so popular. And point blank, Goldman Sachs subsidiary bought it up. Clear Channel got pushed out. I don't work with Clear Channel, but it was a division of some patriots at Clear Channel that put me on like 10 years ago. And I was on for about 7 years. And they told me the inside baseball of what happened. We were removed a couple of years ago, and they said it's coming across the board. And then see Beck, who's out there supporting us getting taken off the air and things and saying we're dangerous. See, it's happening to you now. No, until, I mean, they're a quote private company. They can do what they want, but until, he actually got in trouble or got indicted or something, I think this shouldn't have happened. But regardless, it's only being done now because the climate they think is safe. When they start moving against everybody, it means they're just doing it. And what did Matt Drudge warn us about last year? I'm going to play that clip when we come back. He said these are internet ghettos, which are gulags, basically, step 1. And he said they're coming, I was told by a Supreme Court justice in private. And folks, I've been told. Now, a lot of folks say, well, let's just go along with this and they'll leave us alone. No, that's how they win. You got to exercise free speech now or lose it. And that means support the local AM and FM affiliates we're on. They are the last line of defense. You should cherish those affiliates. You should support them now. This isn't a game. Stay with us. We'll be back on our show. A larger contingent of people are either selfish and just don't care or dumber than a box of old rusty hammers. And that's why they can get away with things like this. And it's a scary time to be alive. Open censorship is being announced all over the world. Persecution of Christians is being intensified. World government is openly being declared. The internet kill switch has been put in place in every major Western country. It's been announced. Cell phone kill switches. Backdoor switches where your phone suddenly nationwide can't videotape or can't record digitally. This is quite an open conspiracy. The smart boxes are in all the cars, made in the last 15 years or so to start taxing us by the mile. The smart appliances are in. They admit they're tracking us, controlling our homes, taxing us, regulating us. It's an organized crime revolution against civilization by the technocrats who openly have met and openly met with world governments and are openly coordinating with the communist Chinese, the EU, and the U.S. government to go into the next phase, and that is cashless society, bail-ins where they grab money out of your bank account, where every action you get charged for, where any type of grassroots economy is outlawed. This is hardcore, and they're doing it. And they hope to just do it and bring it out in the open and just normalize it like it's no big deal with headlines like this. Tech giants vow to tackle online hate speech within 24 hours. This is all in the TPP. They say to stop terrorists, but they just say to stop that, we can't have people out there criticizing Muslims or anything because that's what makes them attack. See, you've got to get rid of your speech and you've got to accept Islam. And it says words, quote, directed against anyone over issues of race, color, or religion. So if you say this London Guardian reporter that is a part African, part Anglo, I guess, gay man, there I'm using the proper word, gay, or I'll get kicked off the internet. Again, how it starts with gay. Sounds reasonable. Now it's everything else. Now I don't say mother and father. And he says, soon we'll get rid of the evil white people and everything will be fine. And we'll just skip down the road happily. That is the most racist, out-of-control statement. But you sit there and say, this guy's racist. Oh, I'm sorry, he's black. He's protected. You're taken off the internet. Because you see, these are protected groups, but they're not really protected. They're just being used. So let's go out to break with this warning from last year with Matt Drudge here in studio.
To come. You thought Obamacare was shocking. You thought some of these other decisions were shocking. Wait until these copyright laws work their way up and the Supreme Court decides you cannot have a website with news headlines linking across the board, then that will end for me. Fine, I've had a hell of a run. It's 20 years next year, or 20 years about now. Hell of a run. I couldn't have gone any farther. I feel completely, I have gone as far out of the galaxy as I can on this. I still want to stay out here, but I've gone pretty damn far for what one individual can do in this culture. But I'm talking about the future. So I don't know why they've been successful in pushing everybody into these little ghettos of these Facebooks and these tweets and these Instagrams, these Instas. This is ghetto. This is ghetto. This is corporate. They're taking your energy. They're taking your energy, and you're getting nothing in return. Nothing.
They're dumbing the language down. Twitter's designed to reduce the language directly out of 1984. It's ingsoc.
Right. Ultimately, it's boring, and the kids are always off to something new, except for the something new is owned by the same freaking company or financed by the same banking system. So I'm here to say, and this is the reason why I came to see you, Alex, is you are one of the very few who are operating under this theory to be an independent American in a big way. If your calling is media, fine. If your calling is sports, whatever it is, but you've got to be the greatest you can be now. And
we're going to come back and play where he warned about the Supreme Court justice coming to him and saying next year.
We're on the march.
They're coming after us.
The Empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
In the last 60 years, we have tried to educate as many people as we can, not just here, but across the world. And now we've got a fighting chance to defeat the World Government Project. Because the World Government Project is only the means to the end. The end game is planetary eugenics. Planetary forced population reduction. And many people say, good, there's too many folks. I don't like standing in line, to get my Starbucks coffee. You have Starbucks and complex civilization and choices because of large human masses. That's why you go to the cities. But when you're in the cities, it creates the illusion of overcrowding. And the more prosperous a city there is, the more overcrowded and dirty it is because there's more people and more opportunity and more energy. But you go up in an airplane and you figure out that 90% of the land is not being used or more in places like North America. Now, there are some areas in the South Pacific where fathers are living off government welfare and having up to 20 children. The children then basically become miscreant. They get filled full of leftist globalist ideology worldwide, and they get transshipped into the West. They have no culture, and they then adopt CIA-produced gangster culture weaponized in 1986 in a government project partially declassified. Yes, inner-city black gangster culture didn't exist in the 60s and 70s. It was completely manufactured, weaponized, put into media, and now has been exported with a devastating effect. White Russians, Asiatic Chinese, it doesn't matter what group it is, Arabs. You go to Brazil, it's hip-hop music, gangster culture, thugs about being scummy and dishonorable and just being horrible. That was weaponized to bring down culture. And now you see the attacks on the father, the attacks on the mother. You see everything that's been beta tested in the inner city communities being used worldwide. First tested in the laboratory, then deployed. Just like, you don't just think they shot black people up with syphilis, do you? They were just so sloppy about it in Tuskegee they got caught. In a 47-year project, they kept secret with more than, what was the number of people that they know they did it to? Tens of thousands? And again, I talk about Tuskegee all the time because that's one little thing everybody knows about, even with the dumbed-down population. This video from Infowars.com yesterday, Americans have no idea what Memorial Day is. I'm going to play that. See, this is why we're in so much trouble. This video is up on DrudgeReport.com. It's a Paul Joseph Watson article. Mexican parents train 3-year-old girl to say, we have to kill Donald Trump. Graphic photos. Migrants fleeing Islamic State risk bringing deadly flesh-eating disease to Europe, already hitting hundreds of thousands. But they're not tested. They're not tested. Just like TB, 20+% of the migrants, they're not invaders, they're not illegals, they're not jihadists, they're migrants. Of course, you can't migrate to Saudi Arabia, you can't migrate to Mexico, you can't migrate to North Korea, you can't migrate to China, you can't migrate to Japan, you can't migrate anywhere but Europe and the United States, Canada, Australia. And they don't even test for drug-resistant, and that's a nice name, for drug-immune TB that will eat your lungs. But now we have a new flesh-eating love that I have trouble even pronouncing. It's leishmaniasis. Sandfly disease. Can we pull up the headline out of France a month ago? Civil emergency declared on French highways because the migrants, there's just videos, hundreds and hundreds of them every week. So many we can't even watch them, just besieging and robbing and dragging families out of their vehicles. Just, and then we can have some weird lisping London Guardian guy that can hardly talk. Yeah, how dare you be Islamophobic? We will conquer you, white people. Liberal. While the Guardian's run by a big mega bank trust, openly run by the IMF and World Bank that's annihilating Europe. They talk about how we're going to defeat the white elites. What you want to do is blow up anything left of the Renaissance. Because you set up a free market system in years, it can reverse everything you've done. It's like a machine. Let's say that the Earth was radioactive. No matter how radioactive you set this machine up, it could terraform in a matter of years and remove the radiation. Let's use a cheesy 1980 Star Blazer. Can you guys cue up the original Star Blazers intro? I'd only seen the first season when I was a kid. I'd run home and try to watch it. And you've got these gamelons firing these big planet bombs that are radioactive at the Earth, and the humans have moved, under the crust, and they're trying to go to this other planet, Iskandar, to get this machine that they can bring it back. It'll reverse the radiation. They are literally hunting down the republics right now, hunting down free market and all this choice and all this culture and everything. And they turned the engine on its head and turned it into just anti-family, anti-freedom, anti-saving, anti-free market, anti-technology, anti-medicine. They got rid of the Hippocratic Oath. They have death panels. They have death panels for the veterans. And Bill Gates gets up on TV and goes, if we kill one old lady, we can give you 10 jobs. And then people are like, oh. And Gruber gets up on TV and goes, good thing the public's a bunch of dumb idiots. I mean, listen, what you're hearing from me is the truth, okay? They've put the internet kill switches in place. They've done it all. They've got it all set for the next phase of world government, a global collapse, and they roll in planetary rule as a solution of the problems they created. Just like I told you, they would push civil emergency Europe-wide, ban free speech there and then here, when the jihad attacks happened, and now they've openly announced it. And they're going to do it here. That's why they're bringing in the sleeper cells. So, look, video. Americans have no idea what Memorial Day is. Video. Mexican parents train 3-year-old girl to say, we have to kill Donald Trump. Graphic photos, migrants fleeing Islamic State risk bringing deadly flesh-eating disease to Europe. It's already there. 18 people are sexually assaulted at German concert with victims surrounded by mobs of migrant men and groping and copycat attacks in those in Cologne. Because from those Muslim countries these guys are coming from, if a woman is unattended, you're allowed to basically rape her. And then when you rape her, she gets executed. Now that's in places like Pakistan and places like Saudi Arabia. Executed. Look it up. Executed. You're gay, executed. And then you've got weird gay guys on TV going, whites, it's over. Your Islamophobia is over. Okay. Oh, ISIS throw me off a cliff. Thank you. Oh, I mean, so far. I mean, this is what we've come down to, ladies and gentlemen. Students call for prisons to be banned. NUS group headed by unions, anti-Semitic new president says all criminals should be freed. So that's how it starts. Put everybody in prison, then release the violent offenders, make them the enforcers. They're not going to release anybody. They're going to release the violent offenders and make them the honchos. In fact, I've got articles in Germany and France. They're hiring illegal aliens to be the new police. Trump slams embarrassed loser Crystal over third-party threat because Trump doesn't want a bunch of world wars. That's just some of why this is all happening. But meanwhile, tech giants vow to tackle online hate speech. EU links up with Twitter tech firms to combat hate speech, AP. Operation Tulip takes